So the number one name in our list this week would be Idea Forge. So basically, it's a drone company, not actually drone. It's a UAV based robotics company, actually AI robotics company, what they call themselves to be. And this is the week of a very big breakout that is happening for Idea Forge. So I'll straight away jump to the chart. So basically we can see that with high volume, right? This volume is massively high. So it is the highest ever weekly volume that has happened, and that weekly volume is due to two reasons. Number one being like on this day, like this upper circuit day, right? The move triggered due to quarter four FY26 earnings, right? So that's a massive turnaround earnings that has happened in quarter four of FY26, and that has led to a nice move, right? Prior to that, also it was kind of moving on the upside, but again, it was kind of extended move that happened. Exhausted move is what I can say. And on this day, basically SG Society generally, the FIA guy, right? So that firm bought this thing around 703 or 707, somewhere close to 700 rupees they bought. And I think next day, I think, next day, I think one more firm, BNP Paribas, right? That firm also bought this around 780 or something, 783 or something. So basically, what I have seen is back to back, the institutions are buying this company. So when they are buying, that creates a nice demand in the stock, and that leads to further momentum that people see in the market. That okay, these guys are big time buying, and there would be a lot of say PMS, AIF, or family offices, and a lot of big guys who might be buying the names without disclosing to the retailers, right? And that is where we can see massive volumes have emerged, right? And you can see that everything has turned green, right? These three lines, right? This is a rare scenario, is what I'm saying. Like green. So this is kind of a power trend that is going above to 21 EMA. Okay, golden crossover that has happened on Thursday, and it's crossing above 200 EMA. Everything has expanded, and volumes are very high. New relative strength high is there, which I will show you. So basically, everything is there with respect to technical chart, right? So the thing is, the 200 EMA was declining, so flat to declining for quite some time, and we can characterize this zone as stage one. And for a long time, it has done nothing. So basically, if you see, everything is red. So everything is red. There was no signal actually. Okay, so this whole thing that you see, this thing, right? It's all red. So eventually, next week is the time when you would see this thing turning, say, green or something, because right now it is crossing, say, 200 DMA, 50 DMA is crossing 200 DMA, and this would be the first time that the stock would enter a good stage two, right? So, which means that despite the move is extended, I know that the move is extended, but the patterns or the signal that we are seeing is early, is what I'm saying. So number two being, since it's a very extended move, it qualify it since it has moved like more than 100% in one go. If you start from here, right, low is 366, the high made is say 849, right? It's a high tide flag. High tide flag means a flag formation where the pole is more than 100% in say 2 months, right? So within 8 weeks, if the stock moves more than 100%, that qualifies for a high tide flag. Okay, so the theory with high tide flag is, so if there is a story, fundamental backing everything, if there is a high tide flag, then the stock consolidates in a narrow zone. For a good high tide flag, the zone is somewhere at max say 23% decline. Okay, but if there is a turnaround story or the move is very extended, the decline might happen say by 30%, even 35%. That's also there. But when a high tide flag happens and the consolidation is done, right? And then a breakout happens, then the opportunity for the stock to doubles. Okay, that's the golden line. Okay, so wherever we have a good high tide flag backed by a reversal in fundamentals, then there is a potential opportunity for the stock to double again. Okay, due to that high tide flag, that is one. So we can see that a lot of institutions have checked in last 1 week, and there might be a lot that might check in. So, and this is a high tide flag and all the technical parameters that we have discussed. So, one thing to say is this is a downward sloping channel breakout that has happened again, similar to the small cap index. And this is a disappointment IPO base, right? So it came, so the IPO IPO price was around 672 rupees. Okay, beyond it listed around 92% premium or something like that. Thereafter, it declined and kept on declining until it came close to its IPO price. And beyond that, again, the decline continued because the fundamentals declined eventually in last 2 to 3 years because there was dearth of order. And then again, the eventual buyer is the Indian government, and it was exploring the overseas market. That was not happening. So the decline continued. So, and the decline was massive. I mean, whoever who might have bought might have seen like 77% decline happened in this IPO base, right? So that's very, very high. Okay. So it qualifies for a disappointment base, but again, now it qualifies for a disappointment plus base, which means that there is only a rare few. I mean, if I have to quantify, there's a probability of say 0.5 to 1% of the disappointment base to be a multi-bagger in the future. I think this is the one which has qualified with a massive breakout right now. What's next? This is the roadmap which we can see, and with this roadmap, we can see that 824 is the near-term resistance, and the stock closed close to 814. The biggest resistance would be 840. This zone, this high, right? 800. Open was 840, and then 864 something. So this zone of 824 to 840 would be a resistance zone, and below that, one of the best zone would be say close to 701, right? So this 701 would be a very nice zone for the stock to consolidate as close to 701 would be very nice. Okay. So I'll just do a bit more research on the roadmap for the later time that is there. But again, for the short term, we can say that 701 would be a very, very nice scenario to see. And then, yeah, so this is the case and then done, right? So I'll just move to screener, right? I'll just move to screener and then we'll see how things are happening in there and then a few key parameters. Idea Forge, right? So I'll just go to screener. Idea Forge. Yeah. I've shared my screen. So basically, we can see on screener that it's a 3,500 odd crores company at 814 rupees and good, nice float, and then everything is there. It's okay. I mean, this falls into the category of a turnaround company where it was loss making for quite a long time eventually. The fixed cost was way too higher and it did not have like big time orders. And then eventually, whatever orders that it has executed, uh, that was a negative margin, right? So that was the scenario with this company for last 2 to 3 years. And right now, the turnaround happened with triple digit kind of earnings. So basically, what happened is it had like 500 and odd crores, I believe, I think 540 crores kind of order book, out of which it executed, I believe, around 200, sorry, 141 crores kind of order book it has executed, and during the whole year, around 200 plus or something. So the open order book in hand right now is around 310 crores is the open order book that might be executed as per the con call, which would be executed in next 3 quarters is the story. So basically, it has executed a large chunk of the order during quarter 4, and it was a very high margin order, especially from the EW side. EW is electronics warfare. So whenever you guys just see that okay, the margin is high, the reason would be the that electronic warfare thing might be higher in the order, and that is a high order thing rather than the UAVs and the surveillance drones and stuff. Okay, so it's a turnaround scenario will go down. So there would be massive improvement in the return ratios. So right now, whatever you see in screener, everything would be negative. So that is why we can say that it's a turnaround story. But we can see this return ratio in here. So for last 2 quarters, it has turned positive, and there is a very high probability. So again, I'll come back to the story first. So the story is the wars that we have seen across the globe, right? If you see Ukraine, Russia, the Iran, Israel, in India, Pakistan, right? Whatever thing that you have seen, right? So there is a large role played by UAVs and drones, right? This is the theme right now. The global war right now is not being fought on, say, ground by soldiers and aircrafts, warriors and stuff. Okay, that's a distant dream, it seems. So people are using either missiles. Missiles are very costly, and people are using drones and UAVs right now. Okay, so UAVs are fairly used in surveillance, but again, there's a new category of UAVs or drones that is called as loitering munition or kamikaze drone. Okay, so basically, what happens there is the drones just fly like that. Okay, goes to the target and just it does the suicide, right? It just falls on the target and it blasts off. Okay, and that is very cheap. That is one. Number two, if you have the missile attack or anything that is happening, then using the drones to just put off those missiles and stuff is very cheap. Okay. Now, for offense and defense, drones and UAVs are a very good source right now, and everyone has understood this point. Now, the story is the Indian government has realized that, and the army would be doing a fast track procurement of these equipment. So, these would belong to ISR, that is intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. That is the surveillance thing, I would say. Okay, so surveillance drones. So, the procurement bifurcation might be close to say 40% ISR, and then 60% would be ISR plus loitering munition or the kamikaze drones. Okay, the order size would be very, very high. I mean, the reports that we have in the market right now, the probability of orders is in the range of say 200 billion INR, which is close to say 20,000 crores. Okay, the number of players are less eventually because the government would not allow the foreign players to bid and participate due to obviously security reasons. There are a few companies like Idea Force qualifies, then a company by the name of New Wave is there, and there might be a company by the name of Asteria. So only three, four companies, big companies are there who have these capabilities. So distribution of orders. So I've discussed that, and apart from that, when these things would take off, basically I think around May end or something, we might have the approval there. Thereafter, the RFPs or RFQs might come in, say by July or something, and 12-month or 18-month procurement cycle might start in which this company as well as other companies would participate. Now the question is, what is the size of the order book that this company might get? That's the biggest question. Okay. Now again, the trigger that the thing that triggered the whole move in the current quarter is number one being earnings. Okay. Number two being the company announced is its strategic pivot to just move towards loitering munitions and combat drones as a whole, right? So earlier the company was focusing on surveillance drones and stuff rather than anything else. So right now it is venturing into kamikaze loitering munition and combat drones as a whole. And that opens up the pie. Earlier, only it was qualified for 40% of the orders. Right now, the whole 100% pie of, say, 20,000 crores order book is open. Okay, now we'll have to think in terms of opportunity or the probability. For example, in general parlance, right, say, let's assume the base case, lowest case probability. So if there is a win rate of, say, 15%, okay, if the company wins like say 15% of the bids that it participates, right, assuming that, right, then we might see an order book of say 3,000 crores in next 2 years. Okay, assuming the cycle runs up till FY28. So 3,000 crores order book might be the potential opportunity. That is the near term servicing addressable market, SAM, we can say. And what is the order book right now? The order book for the company right now is say 300 crores, only 300 crores. So there might be an opportunity for this company to gather say 3,000 crores order book, which is 10 times the current order book and equal to the current market cap of the company in next 2 years. That's the story. What would that lead to? That's the I'll say that's the assumption base case is what I'm saying. Okay, surprise would be if it wins like 20-30% of the orders. We don't know ultimately. Okay, so I am assuming say 50%, 15% of the orders are there. Okay, so that would lead to what? That would lead to a massive jump in say revenues. So right now the revenue is close to 226 crores. Okay, Now, if they execute 310 crores in next 3 quarters, and assuming they don't have any order book, okay, so they would be closing this year, the FY27, say till 310 crores, okay. Still, that's kind of a 40% jump, yeah, 40% jump in top line, okay. Maintaining the margin around 55%, again, profitability would increase big time. So FY27 would be the year when we have massive profitability jump with 310 crores kind of top line. And that would eventually reach to 2024 levels, right? So that is the story with the current order book in hand, right? Apart from that, what the market is not discounting right now, I'll share three optionalities. Number one being the EW segment as a whole, electronic warfare, the things that the company has developed, right? It is getting repeat orders from the existing customers, and this is a high margin product for the company, and it is doing quite well. Number two, it has ventured into the United States, and the Lamar Police Department has given a pilot order to this company for a surveillance drone to monitor the shootouts that happen there and like that. Number three, it is one of the only companies in the country who got the opportunity to train the NATO forces in the recent training that has happened in drones and stuff. So there might be another opportunity that might open up in the European countries. So basically, the export orders might ramp up, the domestic orders might ramp up, and we have to see how this company executes. So the key risk would be again execution might be the key risk. So this was idea four that we discussed, and then we'll move towards the other names.